Hello and happy September. We
Happy,
made it. Happy Friday. Happy September. We made it to the end of the week. We made it into, the last leg of summer. We're still in summer. It's still like 80 degrees here right now in New York. It's not quite over. So I'm still going to be enjoying the weather, less humid. It is less humid here than it was in July and August, which is incredibly pleasant. But yeah, I mean, so this month, I'm very excited here to have Carrie once again. Carrie Jared, she is a cheese certified cheese expert. She does customer service for us. She's one of our very first customers. That cheese grotto classico that you see there is from 9 years ago. It's one of the first ones that we ever made, which is crazy. So yeah, it's really great to have her on the Cheese Grotto team. And yeah, helping to educate our customers and walk through everything that we do. So, yay, thank you for being here, Carrie.
yeah, no problem. We're in opposite weather. I'm in Minnesota, and this we're having all over the news. They're calling it fake fall, and we might have repeated fake falls before we actually get into fall. Our high today was 60, and it felt like in the 50s because of the wind. And we've already had to cover plants from the frost.
What?
Yeah, yeah, that's why the sheets always live in the garage.
Wow, interesting. Wow, okay. Well, we'll see. So you think it's gonna come back, like warm up again?
Yeah, I think next week they're predicting 80.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Well. So, speaking of summer and summer not ending, one of the themes of September's box, which I'm excited to highlight because I think we don't really talk about this enough when it comes to a lot of specialty cheeses, especially ones that are made in small to medium scale batches, uh, where the herds are grazing in the spring, summer, and fall months and enjoying pasture. And then they might either take a break during the winter, the ladies need a break too, or they will, there might be different cheeses that are made during the winter months. And the reason that that happens is because there actually is a chemical composition difference in the milk based off of the feed of our lovely dairy animals that are providing this really great quality milk. And so during the spring, summer, and fall months, you have this really incredible opportunity to capture in these grass-fed uh, milk cheeses some terroir, some real taste of place within each wheel of cheese. And, every season uh, there will be a variation to the cheese. So, but these cheeses are really more focused on, are made during the times where there are those lush grasses and the herds are grazing on them. There are other makers who do produce year round. They might control the feed more consistently and not have as much grazing practices in what they do. So they might not see as much variation, but I really love the beauty of these kinds of cheeses. I think it's like it really reflects, that there is a seasonality to herds and the cycle of creating milk. And yeah, we'll get into that some more with the cheeses that we have today. So even as the weather cools down, or if it cools down freakishly for 1 week and then goes warm again, you can also continue to taste summer within your cheese. And there also are certain cheeses that are available, during the winter that are capturing summer milk, like Pleasant Ridge Reserve is one of them from Uplands Cheese, which we often carry on our site as well, and we have featured in the subscription box. So So yeah, so without further ado, we're going to get into the three cheeses that we have. Uh, Carrie is going to build a board with everything that we have in the kit, and then also we are going to talk a little bit about pairings because, well, the pairings in the box, but also beverage pairings because after all, it is happy hour and these things need to be considered very seriously. So um so yeah, first off, um my name, I don't know if I didn't even introduce myself, but you might know me already if you've already been in the cheese subscription for a while. My name is Jessica Sennett. I'm the founder of Cheese Grotto. And if you don't have a Cheese Grotto yet, this is it. At least one of them. You see, Carrie has a different model in hers. Mine's the Mezzo, Carrie has the Classico. And it's a humidor for storing and serving cheese. So it essentially creates a really lovely microclimate in the grotto itself without the need for wrapping cheeses. Um, so yeah, you'll see here I have all three of the cheeses that are featured in the September box. They fit nicely in the mezzo, which is great for like 1.5 pounds of cheese, up to 2 pounds of cheeses that you can store in the one shelf version. Carrie, how much like the Classico you can really load up. I mean, it's like yeah, it's that is the biggest model. That's we started big and then started scaling them back a little bit in size for different kitchens and stuff. But um,
I left mine wrapped just for right now because I like to unwrap and smell. But
oh, I love that.
there's another shelf here, but Cabra LaMancha was a little too tall to. Um, but yeah, I like my Classico, and like Jessica said, it's 9 years old, and she's still working really good. And I just do the vinegar and water wash, and then some mineral oil. Be careful. I know baby oil is a mineral oil, but well, unless you really love the smell of babies, that's fine. But so I named her Greta.
I know that's so good. Okay, can we have to think about a name for mine right now because I've had it for a really long time and I still haven't named it.
Oh, that's the mezzo, right? I
Yeah,
think. Okay, Mildred.
the first name that came up was Mike, but that's just because
Mike. Just yeah, he's part of the family cheese school.
yeah. Mike's Carrie's husband and just like Mike the Mezzo. Anyway,
Mike the mezzo. I like
yeah.
that.
Anyway, I'm loopy. It's a Friday. So, so yeah, so we'll start off. We're gonna start off with the Catlett cheese here. Have you had any other cheeses before, Carrie, from Black Radish?
No, no. You were gonna get the mountaintop, and it didn't come through. So
Oh, that
no.
was Firefly.
Oh,
Firefly.
that was Firefly. Okay,
Yeah.
but no, not black radish.
Yeah, they're quite small. They are quite small. It's really interesting because we actually have two cheeses that are located in the Appalachia areas, just like in different sections of it. But that the whole Appalachian region is like really awesome for rotational grazing of dairy animals that has like really diverse, lush grasses. And basically rotational grazing is a practice where you can move herds from one piece of land to another to help promote the biodiversity and basically have the animals become like integral to the ecosystem and help to with the regeneration of the soil. Did you know that dairy animals can actually help? It's a great thing to learn. It's just the way that we manage them. That's what's important. So
Ask Mike.
yeah, yeah, Mike will have, well, we'll do, part two is going to be a tutorial on like sustainability in dairy. He doesn't know that I'm signing him up for that right now. No.
That's a longer conversation.
Yeah. We'll be here for another like 3 hours. Um,
I noticed that the first two cheeses are a similar style. Um, and both of the herds graze in the Appalachians, both Meadow Creek and Black Radish.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting because the actual texture and like flavor of the cheese is very different, even though they're both called like Alpine or mountain style cheeses, which like literally can tell you a lot about even the variety of cheeses that can come out of like these kind of the different types of cultures that are available, the different types of recipes that are inspired originally by, when they say mountain cheese or alpine cheese, originally inspired by the Alps regions in like France and Switzerland and Italy. So, but the second cheese we're gonna try that's also in the Appalachians Galax, that cheese is like more of a semi-firm texture to it. It's a little bit more of like a tome. It's like a inspired by a Gouda recipe, but it's like got like a tome style to it. Whereas this first one is much denser, and yeah, more of like going like a little bit more towards like an Alpine style, like a Gruyere, like something a little bit like denser, and in the texture. So, and you'll notice the rind is incredibly, incredibly different in the two cheeses too.
Now, Mike, you testing out the Chenin Blanc first? No, Sauv Blanc.
Mhm.
So we just took a smell and kind of our experience with pairings, and the sheer number of spreadsheets and notebooks that we have for pairing beverages with cheese, uh, has increased our experience. So we kind of know a jumping off point, but we're always surprised. And they also, Black Radish, they started their business as making preserves.
Hmm.
And they kind of wanted to morph into cheese, but their shop, I saw some photos of it, it was absolutely crammed with product and a lot of preserves. Um, so then they started making cheese, and the whey actually, the Catlett got its name from the fellow that owns the cattle. Last name is Catlett.
Hmm.
And the whey goes into a distillery. So there's a distillery nearby that distills the whey into clear spirits, which is kind of the rage right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really incredible, like thinking about other ways to use whey. But in the in the production of cheese, when you make the curd, you add cultures, you add rennet to milk, and that forms the curd. There's the huge, a lot of expelling of water content, which is the basic whey minerals, whey proteins, and water. And it actually could be a serious like question as to what to do with it, because when you start producing at a much larger scale, you can't just like you can use it for fertilizer to a certain degree, but like you can't just like keep putting it on the land. You don't want it to just like go into water systems. I mean, this is when you're talking about like much, much larger operations too, but like so there's a lot of farmers will like feed it to pigs. Like it's like nice and nutrient rich, and then you have whey-fed pork, like if they have pigs on their land. Sometimes they even feed it back to the cows too.
Mhm.
Yeah. But this whole like distilling it, because yes, you can still continue to ferment it. It has,
Sugar.
yeah, yeah. So it's like it is really interesting. And yeah,
No, this time I right up front, it's just really mild, kind of like a brown butteriness to it. And then at the end, the salt just kicks into gear. I'm gonna ask Mike to come over here. Are you experiencing the same thing? We usually disagree. No, I'm kidding.
No, not necessarily. We don't disagree. No, kind of the same thing that I would say. I really like that butteriness, the
Mhm.
nuttiness, but like you said, the salt kind of kicks in at the end, and that's going to make it fun when we start pairing
Mhm.
some things with it too.
The
So,
salt, like
yeah.
sweet,
mhm.
is balanced by sweet. One of the recommendations I found online was actually tawny port.
Do you
I
have
haven't quite
some?
made it there yet.
You haven't made it to the county port yet?
Not
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, maybe that'll be like at the end, like you circle
Go
back around
back
with the
in.
port. Um, yeah, I got like it was like kind of like a Brazil nut thing going on with it. Like there's like this like buttery but like nuttiness, but then like it kind of had a little bit of a bitter, like that kind of like nut like rind of the Brazil nut like element to it too at the end, which is interesting.
Yeah,
Uh,
that, I mean, now, I mean, it really lingers. It really hangs out. This is a soft blanc I'm going to give it a try too. Um, and as it lingers, I'm getting some bitterness, which is interesting. So it might really like a beverage.
yeah, I think so.
That works pretty well. This one is from Amador County, though, and they do tend to have more of a fruit profile to the wines. Fruit forward, Sauvignon
Yeah.
Blanc, DRE. But the acid kick really helps too.
Yeah, it's like that's interesting that I mean with this kind of cheese, I feel like yeah, like Sauvignon Blanc might be like the lightest you could go on it
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's just because it does have a pretty like intense
Mhm.
like body to it and like that saltiness that like if you had anything lighter than that it would
Yeah, what's left on my tongue is blue cheese.
The thing that helps most is that kind of citrus finish and
Mhm.
everything else. So that little bit of acid that kicks up because I have open a Chenin Blanc as well, the South African Chenin, and it kind of runs over the top of that one a little bit.
Oh, it does?
It's
Okay.
yeah, the cheese is a little bit
yeah
too much for it. So you
yeah
get the right Chardonnay, this would work pretty darn well too.
Mhm.
So nothing wrong with that.
yes
We have a little wine, just a
yeah
little paranoid. Um, and if you can believe it, I could not find a Pinot Noir.
Oh, yeah. Really?
Oh, okay.
Well, there's a lot of comparable style
Yes.
to Pinot Noir.
And with this, when I do a board, I usually place the largest things first, and well, the most important is cheese. And whatever else I just really want to incorporate into the board, and I try and keep them towards the edge and not put rolly things on the edge, because if you're going to move it, you have olives all over the floor.
Yeah, that's the trick, right? Unless you have one of those like lipped
Yeah, yeah.
birds, yeah.
And this is just something I really wanted to incorporate. When I cut into this orange, I thought it looked like a pumpkin.
Oh my God, cute.
Oh,
See, it's that trick, right? You're like, it's almost fall,
yes.
actually.
It is, well, not quite citrus season yet, but
Yeah.
we enjoy our citrus up here in Minnesota. And we also look forward to tomato season. We just don't have a lot of growing time here, so we look forward to everything that comes. Right.
Yeah. No, it's yeah, some of it's way too short.
So I let this one crumble. I left the rind, I'll pick it up here. I left the rind around the edge and just left that there to kind of hold the cheese, and you can see more of the format of what the piece looked like. And I think that's attractive. And yes, you can cube cheese and you can crumble cheese. It's not a felony.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah, this one kind of you could do a lot. It's got like a in-between texture to it where
Mhm.
like, you depending on the shape of the cheese, yeah, you could definitely cut the triangle pieces
Yep.
small and plate it that way. So
Yeah, totally. And this was just kind of for variety. Look at my cheese is disappearing over there.
yeah, it happens quick. Happens disturbingly quick sometimes. Um the rind, I just tasted the rind too because it does have a little bit of funk to it. Because it is edible and it's not like super thick It's not super thick rind. It's definitely like during the aging process, it's been continually maintained because there's not a lot of development on it.
Hmm. No, there isn't, and it's a huge texture difference from that into the body of the cheese.
Mhm.
So that wouldn't necessarily be the best bite for somebody.
Yeah, it's got like it's definitely got a little like more barnyardy like funkiness to
Mm.
it, like in the rind. But yeah, I always like to explore the whole cheese because like the way that the rind develops really also informs the way that the interior cheese paste develops. So it's fun to taste. Was that the port?
Yeah. You can put it tawny.
Yeah,
That does not look like a tawny.
it's a tawny port from Washington State, so a little different.
Yeah.
Can actually call it port.
They call it tawny.
Tawny,
It does
okay, does
not
not
say
say port.
port.
Okay.
So
They're tricking everyone because nobody's gonna think about how it doesn't say port on there, you
it's
know?
actually Tempranillo based, so it's a Tempranillo grape. So it's not really even the Portuguese
Mhm.
varietals that would typically go in, but it's
Yeah.
actually quite a nice blend with
Mhm.
this to have that little bit of, almost tawny port flavors, some of the caramel and other things that
Mhm.
match
Yeah.
well with cheese. So
And there's a little bit of acid too,
yeah.
and the tannins
Mhm.
are carrying forward.
Amazing. Oh my God. I want some of that right now.
I
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like you can't really go wrong with a port. It's just a lot of times it works great with a lot of different cheeses, especially these ones, which are like, they all have some character to them for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, totally.
All right, well, should we go on to the second cheese here?
Semi-soft cheese is how they describe it.
It's interesting with this cheese, the Galax, because so it's inspired, like they said it's the inspired recipe is a Gouda. Um, but it's still made, if you've had any of their other cheeses, they make these like more squat, like square formats. That's how most of their cheese, except for their Mountaineer, like they have Appalachian like this, they do a Grayson, which that one is like bring on the funk. The Grayson's like I mean, Cabra LaMancha's got that too for sure, but Grayson all is like yeah, like when it gets older, it's like wow, that is really bold. Um
It changed, their cheeses change a lot as they age.
they
Totally.
really do. Like if you get a young one, it's like very like milky, like kind of silky texture. And like I noticed like yeah, it's like almost like a cocoa chocolate thing goes on with the rinds of their cheeses.
I know it's like ammonia and cave. Wow. But I haven't cut it yet. So
I'm
this is
getting like onion too.
yeah.
Very savory.
And
Mhm.
does not seem like a Gouda, no. But what um
It's an
it's
American original.
bingo.
That's what we call them.
I noticed that, I mean, they have really, really limited runs. So when oh, I forgot the one, but there was one that's like, we don't have any right now, but this date it's gonna come out. We'll release it. So it's interesting how I think it's interesting how they how cheese is seasonal and the production is seasonal, and it also depends on, the cheesemaker itself, if they have the time. Whatever. It depends on human
Mm.
elements, really.
Hmm.
So get it when it tastes good. When it's tasting good, it's a good thing to ask your cheesemonger is what's tasting good right now.
Wow.
So we cut
It
over the
definitely has like more of a yeah, it's almost got like that kind of like Swiss like thing going on to it, like in the flavor right now.
this style of cheese is, I mean, when it's this funky, it's hard to pair.
Bring out the port.
Yeah, he's excited with the
Bring,
day.
bring, bring it on.
It's very yellow compared to, I mean, and that's what the animals have been eating. Um,
Yeah. I mean, actually, you can tell. I mean, that's a great point to look at visually. Like even like with the Catlett and the Galax, you can tell that they have this yellow hue, which is the way in which the cows are processing the grass.
Mhm.
Um, you don't see that with goat milk. So that's why, even though there's a seasonality to the goat milk production, which we'll get into in a little bit, like with a little more detail in a little bit, um, you aren't able to see that golden hue. But I think, when this cheese is like when the rind's a little bit more intense on this cheese, or like any of the Meadow Creek dairy cheeses, I mean, that's where I really start to love adding like a jam, like the blackberry jam, can be really nice too. Just like to something that like stands up well to like the savory, like really intense umami, like earthiness. Um, I've done before like a sour cherry, pomegranate is really delicious with this kind of cheese too. But yeah, the blackberry is great as well.
Yeah, the jam is just going to work with cheese. I mean, sweet and salt, period, is really almost always complimentary. It is
Yeah.
so mild from the nose. It is so mild on the palate.
Oh yeah, like the nose is so strong, but the taste is yeah.
Very mild.
hmm I mean, that's the thing about a lot of cheeses that when they're more funky, we have the option on our website so you can decide like if you don't want like wash drying cheeses like the last one, you don't have to get them in your kit, but I find that a lot of times, yeah, it's the bark is bigger than the bite in terms of like the way the rind influences the actual paste of the cheese.
What should I try with it?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm working on a few different things. So, um, yeah, you kind of mentioned it. The taste on this cheese is so mild compared to the nose. So, I mean, what you were saying about the jams and everything else, I'm, looking at a cab and just tried that. It kind of runs over the top of the cheese a little bit. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I think I want something that is quite a bit lighter. So, I might open that Gamay Noir
Gamay.
and try that. But
Yeah, that would be
the
good.
bites aren't really the right fit. I did try something rather interesting that was an interesting, at least combination, which was a wine barrel aged aquavit that's
Mm.
heavy on the
Oh, I
dill.
forgot we had this. Oh
On
my.
the dill.
On the
Yeah.
dill, yeah. So it was like double the level of dill that they put in this aquavit. This is a local distillery to us, and it's really interesting when you combine it with some of those other herbal flavors and notes and things like that that are in the cheese too. So
Yeah, definitely. Because there is like this kind of like chive, like onion thing going on with it
yeah,
naturally. Um, that's cool.
Yep.
yeah, it's just one of those kind of that might be kind of fun to play with a little
It
bit
is
here.
fun. I
Mhm.
mean, to pair spirits because spirits are so strong on your palate, and cheese just kind of evens it out, and then you get different flavors from the cheese and from the drink. So I feel like you can almost taste more notes in the cheese when you have a spirit with it.
Oh, then with a wine.
Mhm.
That is interesting. Yeah, I have never, that is a very unique pairing. Where do we get that? Who makes it?
It's called 45th Parallel.
Okay.
We're doing an event with them. Uh,
Mhm.
so it's all, there's a bourbon that they make also. They're along the 45th parallel. So I looked up what creameries were along the 45th parallel just for fun. And Marika is there. Sartori isn't far away from the 45th parallel. Not that it's gonna necessarily pair. Actually, this one, it was an accident. Because it did get over dilled, is that a term?
Now it is.
So we paired it with a cheese that was an accident. Not on purpose, they just happened to go together, but it's a very poetic turn of events, you know? Both of them
That's,
were happy accidents.
that's cheese in a nutshell, right? So just a happy accident, right?
Sometimes to distilleries too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. All of a sudden one day somebody was like, wait, I think I can eat this thing that just was for liquid that just turned firm. I'm gonna
Right.
do
And not die. And not.
yeah. And thus it was born many, many moons ago.
I
Uh,
did, I just simply cut down through and included the rind on both sides of the cheese itself,
love it.
and then just shingled it along the edge again. So I treat my cheeses like anchor stores, and those things we used to have called malls. So it's, here's J.C. Penney, here's Sears, and then the next one's going to be Home Depot over here.
Perfect. And then you have the little like the crackers or the cars or something.
Yeah, let me still have to do that. So
Yeah, we'll build on this metaphor as we go.
the meat's the roadway. No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
Amazing. Jill wants some cheese. My dog.
Uh,
No. Yes, come here. Um, all right. So yeah, but definitely if you haven't had Meadow Creek Dairy's cheeses before, they are very iconic to the American artisan cheese industry. Definitely recommend trying them. Um, as you were kind of noticing when you open it up, it's a little bit of a stronger rind right now, which means that the wheels are a little bit older. Like when it's younger, it usually has like the rind's a little bit less thick. But it's an evolution and it becomes a preference. And the more you get to try it and you try it at different stages, the more you get to explore like the full expression of what the cheese can be, which is really cool. So,
That's interesting timing wise because we're talking summer milks. This is aged over 60 days because it's a raw milk. And so that would almost be that's early summer milk.
yeah, it's like spring, even more like spring, which is why I kind of blended the spring summer. Uh, and the grass.
The
When the
stuff
grass
out
is
there.
there. Yeah.
And there's different stuff growing at those, even among, through spring through summer, just month to month, there's different things growing. So I think that's a fun exploration.
Yeah, totally, totally. No, it is fun. It's like that's why you just have to keep trying cheese
Yeah.
every month. Um, all right. Well, yeah, so we got that. Then the third cheese we have here, this one is Cabra La Mancha. That's got some real funk to it. It's a wash rind goat milk cheese inspired by the Pyrenees cheeses, like Basque cheeses from Spain. Um, it is definitely, yeah, more semi-firm in the texture. Firefly Farms, they are based in Accident, Maryland. And they also work, seasonally with neighboring herds for producing their cheeses. Um, so they, you know, uh, definitely are on a cycle as well. This is also, again, like going to be more of an early summer cheese in terms of when it was produced.
Wow.
Yeah, it's,
I
it's got some aroma to it.
don't have to stick my nose in that.
Yeah. Do it.
I mean, the rind it has that sticky texture that washed rinds can get to as they age. And it's just, that's why I've been peeling it slowly.
Yeah. It's a cheese that has been washed regularly with brine.
Woof. Wow. Yeah, that one's a this just from the smell. Sometimes aged goat cheeses lose their goatiness. This one's got all the goaty. Based on the smell.
It's there on top of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Wow. I'm excited.
But nice. Now it's going to be fun.
I remember early on when I don't know, it's kind of a funny story, but it really does explain a lot about our makers and farmers. Um, we had Meadow Creek in one of the boxes, and so I actually wanted to talk with the makers. So set that up, and I was asking them about agritourism, because
mm.
learning where our food comes from. Uh, in Wisconsin, children still think that chocolate milk comes from brown Swiss cows. Not kidding.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day. We got some work to do.
Yeah. And that piece of education.
Yeah.
He right away says, "Oh yeah, oh, you
I
get
know.
grabby over here." Um, he right away said, "Farmers don't become farmers because they like people."
Yeah, why would I want a bunch of people on my farm? That's basically what the question there.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah,
Some more than others.
yeah, some are really like some have it all, some don't. Yeah, I get it, I get it. It's sometimes, it's nice to just hang out in the cheese cave, vibe out with your cheeses, with your animals, and yeah, all of a sudden 5 years go by and you haven't talked to anyone, and then what? No.
Yeah,
Um,
they start talking to the dog.
yeah.
That
Yes, that is definitely happened to me at least. So, and I live in Brooklyn, New York. But I mean, hey, you're gonna see with this one too once you try it. Same kind of thing. The bark, like Jill's bark, is thicker than her bite, the cheese's bite. See, it was all intentional here. Uh, but
Oh, make an analogy.
but yeah, no, I mean, honestly, what I like about these styles, like this kind of wash rind, is whenever I see like a thin-skinned like orange rind like this, I'm like, it's gonna taste like peanuts.
Mm.
It's gonna like I'm just like I'm ready. Like I'm ready to eat that peanut flavor. Like I really like that element of the rinds, like when they're very like when they're it's like a serious washed uh rind cheese. Like the Galax is they're actually all three of them have had some level of wash in the aging process. But with the Galax, it's like the second one we tried, like they like wash their cheeses and then they just like let the rind go nuts, like in the cave.
Where did the cheese go? I was like, what? What? Not like I think like Wolf of Dumb. The smell just hits you like 10 times more than the taste does. Usually it's not quite that dramatically different.
Yeah.
And it is hard to get something like this past your nose,
Yeah.
past your nose to the point where they'll actually taste the cheese. Is it going well with the Shannon?
Mm-hmm.
Try it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shameless plug.
Based on what you smell, you might be a little bit worried that a white wine would just ramp up the funkiness and you don't really enjoy it. But no, just like you were commenting, it's really mild compared to what you get on the nose of the cheese, and it pairs very well with the Chenin. So it's it's nice with the Chenin Blanc.
And this one would melt really well. So if you have leftovers, you know,
Totally.
shame on you to start with. Um, but throw it in your eggs in the morning. and melt really well. So this kind of smell, this aroma is, sometimes the ammonia is like cat litter box. Um, and stinky socks. We have great descriptors for cheeses. Uh,
I got the cat one. Let me see.
Mm. Not too much of that.
Yeah, not
There's definitely some ammonia there,
yeah, there's
but
a little.
when you first open it, but that's going to dissipate pretty quickly once you have it open too.
mhm,
So,
Yeah, it's hard. This is the kind of cheese that needs to breathe for
mhm.
sure. Like even it just being cut and wrapped like for delivery, um, it needs some air. Like when you open it up, I find this with these rinds in general. Like also, like the cheese grotto, like, I mean, it is a very aromatic cheese to put in the cheese grotto, but it will cure a little bit in the cheese grotto. So, like, the rind will get a little bit more set and like less tacky, like over time. But yeah, I find that that's like with any of these cheeses, it's like after it sits out for like 30 minutes or so, it's like definitely, yeah, the rind kind of like relaxes. But
Now, quick question. When you store this in the grotto,
the,
it's a very active rind. Would you store another cheese in there? Or are they gonna uh, share too much?
I mean, yeah, I mean, like I will store all three of these in the mezzo, in the refrigerator. If you're like worried about some kind of aroma, like that's where you might tent some of the cheese paper over one of them, for, a little bit of separation between them. Um, but yeah, I mean, I usually just have them all together. Um, there isn't, I mean, I would say the one that would be a little bit more active is going to be the Galax because you have that white bloom on it. So that's where you might see like a little bit more development. Like I had this wedge actually in cheese paper for a couple weeks, and I have a little fridge for all my samples when I'm taking photography, and like yeah, there was a little bit more. You can kind of see right there, like a little white
Hmm.
that started to develop, like underneath the rind. So that's something that'll happen over time when you like store cheese more naturally. See, that's the thing with this style, like you don't want to vacuum seal it because it just will die. Like the rind will die. If you did want to vacuum seal it, I would take the rind off because, and even then, it's not going to do very well. Like it's just. Uh, it's an open air cheese. It's raw milk. It's like been like it in no part in its life has it been sealed in plastic. So if you do that to it, you're just gonna get something completely different. It'll probably get like pretty mushy in the texture, honestly. So that's really why, like, if you will notice over time that the rind can travel a little bit, but that's why it's like good to check in on the cheese and, give it a little love, give it a little scrape. If it looks like absolutely identical to what's on the rind, there's never a reason to be concerned about that. It's just continued development over time. So, um,
Yep, exactly. I just spun it in a pinwheel
oh my God, so pretty.
and some corn next to it.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have the crunchy corn and the fresh corn. Is that
Yep.
or is that cooked corn?
I did cook it real quick and I rolled it in some olive oil and a little salt.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, I pick it up and nibble on the end. I mean, you could eat the core, I suppose. It's not going to kill you, but it's going to definitely lessen your happy experience of sweet corn.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta have some powerful teeth for that too. Uh, but amazing. Yeah. So yeah, we can fill out the board. I mean, we got the blackberry jam, um, this like mole salami, which is like an
This is
interesting.
really interesting stuff. I tried to kind of pull it apart and make the fancy stuff, like the fold it in quarters and do the salami river, etc. It's not having it.
Yeah, it's a thicker cut on
Mhm.
it. Honestly, you don't have to do much like for plating it. It's like a smaller coin, like slightly thicker cut to it. But that's a woman-owned company, yeah, based in uh Seattle. Yeah, they're a woman-owned company, and we've featured a few of their salamis, but this one's fun because it has like yeah, a little bit more of like the yeah, this mole flavor, which is really fun with like some of the like more nutty, caramely elements of some of the cheeses.
I
So
put the blackberry jam over here. It's another space absorber. Get in the camera. In just a little bitty bowl. This time I did pull it out of the jar. Sometimes I leave it in the jar because the jar is pretty and it tells you what's going on in there. But since it's a pretty straightforward blackberry, no hidden jalapenos, um, I didn't feel like I needed to have that label on my board for folks to have to, stay away from or whatever, because, well, especially here in the Midwest, we think ketchup is too spicy.
yeah, oh man. You told me this before and it just makes me a little sad. Like, is it really true? I think people would like spice, but you know. Uh
It's a combination.
So yeah, yeah, there is. It's interesting. I got that question an awful lot when I would demonstrate my cheeses and whatever I was doing. Is it spicy? People asking me that. But the thing is that you put a spicy cheese with, ghost peppers, etc., on the shelf, it sells.
yeah,
Like, people seem to want the challenge.
they do. Yeah, the challenge and the experience, you know. You made it. You made it to the other side. Uh, Amazing. Yeah. I'm like obsessed with those taralli, by the way. Like that's part of the reason I don't have any of them with me on my end right now because yeah.
They
They're
are pretty unique. They're just got this well, with the onion and the raisins, I wouldn't
Mhm.
think to do raisins, but then these are different. They're not the raisins we know.
Yeah, like the sultana raisins. Yeah.
Mhm. It's
Uh
definitely not a cracker that you know, put a slice of cheese on it. It's its own thing.
yeah. I mean you can use you can, but yeah, you have to like kind of hold it. Or like
Yeah,
you have to do it has to be like a long slice and it like lays on top. That's what I've done.
there you go.
But it does work, but I just like I love the flavor. I think like I don't know if you've had like I don't know, there's different brands of trolley and like this is the brand. This is the one to get. It's like
Okay.
Daniele. It's just like so buttery, like melt in your mouth texture to it. Some of them can be like a little dry and like have a little bit like a little stale, but I think just like the combination of that and like this like caramelized onion and like a little sweetness from the raisin is just like a really nice complement for a lot of the cheeses too, where it's like you kind of have those natural oniony flavors, but then we're always thinking about how to balance like sweet and savory and salty on a board. And then
Big honking corn nuts are
yes, the Kikos,
they're
crunchy
fun.
corn, they're so flipping good.
I know.
Uh, but
They
it's a
don't
fun,
kill your
fun
teeth.
thing. Other than a nut, try something a little different. You have a little more of a sweet nuttiness to corn. Um, yeah, it's still like very rich, but like it's just a fun, different thing to put on a board as well, like aside from nuts.
Definitely. And I just think, when you're putting food together in general, working with what you have is how things used to go. And that's how we find interesting pairings. Sometimes, things that go together you didn't expect to, like corn and cheese. So that's kind of the nature that Jessica selects the products for the box. They're unique pairings. They're not your standard issue. Well, it's also pretty hard to ship fresh grapes. But
Yeah.
it makes
You add those at home.
yeah.
If you want them. Or you blanch your corn,
Yep.
you make your uh orange into a pumpkin. Oh, you have some tomatoes, is that
Yeah. Little cherry tomatoes, another garden
nice?
goodie. So
Oh,
I do put some fresh items on the board too, depending on what's available. And yeah, I didn't purposefully buy an orange that looked like a pumpkin. So that was a fun surprise.
yeah. It's about being creative. It's about exploring with what you have as you're talking about and making something out of it. So, awesome. Well, yeah, I would love to get oh yeah, you're gonna do garnish. You gotta do garnish. And then yeah, I would love to get a little, maybe if we can adjust the screen so it's a little more focused after.
Okay, I'll hold it up. Does that
Yeah.
help?
The whole thing falls.
Well, that's why you put all the sturdy stuff on the outside.
Yeah. See, we're gonna be testing this theory shortly. Um, but yeah, it looks great.
A little basil. This is kind of end of season basil, so it's really pungent. And that you have to be a little careful because that can really affect your how you taste cheese. I mean, flavor comes from the smell and the palate. So if all you smell is basil, it can change. It can affect how you're tasting the cheese too.
Yeah. The same with yeah, like with when you're tasting your wine. A lot of times, yeah, I'll recommend to really put your nose in there to really get the taste of the wine before trying it with the cheese because like the cheese board can affect that experience too.
Yeah, yeah. I for the friends that make wine, when we were tasting at their home one time, I brought some cheeses, and they made sure that I kept them in the grotto while we tasted the wine because they didn't want the aroma of the cheeses.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good way to use the grotto. Oh my
Is
God,
that
so pretty.
is
Oh
it?
my gosh. Also, like perfect overlap of summer and fall
Oh,
motifs.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's feeling like fall here. Kind of.
Yeah.
And when did Starbucks put out their pumpkin spice? Like in July?
Yeah, I don't know, probably. I don't know. August 1st, I don't know. Like we should probably look that up, but
That'd be funny. So yes, I don't know. Fall is one of my favorite times of year. I just I love the feeling of bringing in harvest, and I think it's kind of the same thing with cheesemakers. You put something up for quite some time. That's what we call when you make preserves and stick them on a shelf. You put them up. So they put up their cheese in a cave for quite some time, and so it's a time investment to come up with something at the end that you hope is great. So the harvest is tasting that cheese after it's aged, etc.
totally. Yeah. No, it's so great. It looks great.
So this will be supper, I guess.
Yeah. By the way, pumpkin spice latte comes out August 26th.
Oh, you looked it up?
So it's out.
Out.
We'll do that. We'll do a pumpkin spice latte pairing next. No.
Okay.
Maybe actually could probably do that for the next box, even though, but yeah, like because we're getting into fall more with October and we have some like cheeses in October coming that are well, we have a Halloween cheese. We have actually more than one cheese that's like actually all three of them I would say are like inspired by Halloween. One most directly, and then one that kind of is just looks like is gonna look a little bit more brain-like, and then and then the third one which is bathed in chartreuse and is like kind of like the cheese that you eat like to hallucinate at like midnight or something. I don't
Oh, okay.
know. With your witch coven or something.
Okay.
Uh,
So, is he in there or something? A little more.
yeah, so you know, you can have a lot of experiences, all I'm saying, with the one that's coming. But
Well, it's called Moon Rabbit, right? Is that the one you're talking about?
yeah, yeah.
Do you,
Oh
even
no, Nightwalker. Nightwalker is the
Nightwalker. Okay, yes.
one.
Gotcha. So the names kind of inspire that feeling of fall.
Oh yeah. Oh,
And
sorry. I said chartreuse. I meant bourbon. I meant
okay,
bourbon because they do have the moon rabbit, which is washed in chartreuse. But yeah, this one is washed in bourbon, 5-year-old bourbon,
okay.
which will be good for fall too.
Pairing, Mike?
These cheeses go well with bourbon
They
too.
do.
Mhm.
We picked up, we were down in Louisville, so guess what? We brought home some bourbon. And just that the caramely notes of bourbon work really well with cheeses in general. It's a little bit like, having a sherry or a port, a dessert wine. But it's bourbon.
Yeah. Amazing.
And we tried a rye whiskey. So that's the one that's over dilled. Okay.
No, that's not dill.
Okay.
Nope, that is just a rye.
Okay.
But no, it's amazing. The La Mancha, just on the pairing side, it could go with the Chenin Blanc, which is a reasonably, fruity and lighter white to a certain extent. But then all of a sudden you put a rye whiskey with it and it goes with both. So
Mm.
it's a really versatile cheese as far as what you can pair. So
Yeah, that is so interesting. I love that. I mean, yeah, that's what's always interesting, like when we're doing these selections of these cheeses and the pairing, like the sequencing and the flights, because you find things that you don't expect. Like you have like certain ideas of what the actual like category of the cheese is and what does that what's the standard of what that pairs well with it. But it's similar to what like Carrie was saying, like it's good to just use what's in your home too and like play and pair because um yeah, like you might have like that. Oh, yeah, the over dilled aquavit where it's like that is a super random thing that you have on hand that it might spark something interesting with like a pretty dynamic cheese. So it's like and wouldn't necessarily be something that would be on our standard tasting menu.
no.
No.
But that's why you have to put in all the work and have all the fun of trying things together. So just keep experimenting.
Yeah.
It's well
Yeah,
worth
totally. So
And then
important.
here's one.
So important. But amazing. Well, yeah, so hopefully, you all enjoy. Thank you for joining today. And we will see you in October when we're gonna do, I don't know, well, we gotta do something fun for October in our
What are you gonna dress up? I want to see that.
oh yeah, I could do that. Just get the cauldron out, like you just keep grabbing one cheese after the other out of there.
Gotta get some, smoke going
Yeah.
on.
Do multiple costume changes. I can do that because I do have enough Halloween costumes.
Really? You like Halloween?
Yeah, oh yeah, I do too. Yes, I think I prefer it to other holidays.
We did a murder mystery, a cheesy murder mystery with a wine bar, a local wine bar. So we built this mystery around the cheeses that we were pairing with the wine, and the cheesemakers of those cheeses were the suspects.
Oh, who done it? Oh, you gotta
Yeah,
play the game to know.
it was fun. And it was a history lesson, Jessica. I mean, looking into the just deep diving into the makers and the company It's really, really super interesting. It certainly is not a surface story. If you go deep and into the past a little bit, you find out that, murders happened over cheese.
Wait, who?
It was a commodity.
Oh,
Back far enough, and you find the good old Wisconsin butter connection.
Yeah.
There's cheesemakers that were involved with the mob and things like that too. So
mm,
it's all
yeah.
that fun stuff.
No one can escape the mob, really.
No.
They work their way in everywhere. Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, it is Parmigiano Reggiano, it's essentially money that they store in a bank. And there was a heist of that. Yeah. So it's I can see how things could go down.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, yeah. Well, anything is, that's where bring home the cheddar comes from
Yeah.
because it's money.
Is that Wisconsin original?
Black market cheese during the World
Mhm.
Wars. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wait,
Get anything
black.
into the black market, guess what? You suddenly have, potential for mob involvement.
Yeah.
So mhm.
Okay.
A whole nother discussion. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, we'll work on this. We're gonna work on this. Get back to everyone, but
Oh, and it is
thank-
still illegal in Wisconsin to put margarine on a table in a restaurant.
but you could kill a man for cheddar. I don't know. It's
Yeah, yeah. They only put butter and they only bring out margarine if
You have to ask
you have to ask
specifically.
for it.
Mhm.
well, part of me respects that a little.
That's-
We're not complaining about that,
Yeah.
but
It's like I don't know what happens if you put margarine out. I guess you get fined or something, but
I don't
Mhm.
who's
Who's
enforcing
policing?
this?
yeah, and spend the night in jail from
Yeah.
uh,
Canada.
yeah. But interesting. Okay. Well, we have a lot to learn about, and we've barely scratched the surface. So, what this means is you need to come back and we're going to do it again.
Yeah, October might be fun.
Amazing. Well, yes. Yay. Have a great rest of September. And yeah, we will see you soon.